Welcome traders to Elite Currency. My name is Chris. This video is focusing on the euro dollar and pound dollar analysis for the next 2 trading days. Let's kick off with the euro dollar. This is the 4-hour chart, and basically we've had so far 5 waves up and 3 waves down. So that has been a pretty clear pattern and wave sequence so far. Now price is getting a little bit into a messier territory. Price respected the inverted head and shoulders pattern we discussed on the weekend, and price bounced pretty close, about 5 pips away from that purple line I have drawn on the chart, and indeed made some upside. However, the entire sideways move here is looking pretty choppy. As you can see, price has been in between 118.50 and 117.25 already for about 2 weeks. So it's a pretty long-lasting range so far, and I think it could be difficult for price to break either way. If it does break, considering the holidays that are close by, it might not break all too far, and price might just stay in a range for a while, maybe until the end of December. But if it doesn't, then the 78.6 fib could still be a resistance spot to be aware of. All right, price respected the 61.8 fib, so if it does show a bullish breakout, that would be the next target and resistance level to think about. If it breaks to the downside and breaks below this support trend line, then I do think that there is the expansion of the correction, as I also expected already last week, that this is just a correction for more downside, and that could happen if price breaks below support, and the target of that is around 116.50 at the -272 target. So these trend lines are important support and resistance levels, basically a measurement whether price will break to the up or downside, and the targets 116.50 and 119 for both breakouts. For the moment, I'm leaning towards a downside break. I do think that this is probably one part of the correction. This could be a second part of the correction, and there's going to be a third leg, I think. Seems a little bit more likely that this is going to be an expanded correction for the moment. And that would only change really if price is able to break above the bigger resistance line, which is this one connecting these tops on the daily chart. So that's why the 78.6 fib at 119 is an important resistance spot too, because of the trend line and the fib. Only if it breaks above that spot and this top would there be a bigger breakout potential on the daily chart, and that could be a very interesting breakout potential, in fact, because it could be a wave 3. So that's the territory at this moment, the terrain that we're looking at. By the way, if it does bounce at 116.50, that also could be an interesting spot because of the fact that this could be then a wave 1, 2, and up it goes for a wave 3. So either at this fib or the breakout, the bigger breakout, that is, those could be interesting continuations. All of that is invalidated though if this particular bottom once again gets broken, because then this is not a wave 1, 2, rather this is then a bigger wave 4 like this, and I would change the analysis obviously very significantly, so it would still be a wave 4. This purple line therefore very important. So keeping an eye basically on this structure for the moment. As I said, it could be an ABC correction. It did bounce. So we'll have to see how price responds to this zone and this zone. For the moment, there is a little bit of a bounce on the lower time frames. Let's zoom in to the hourly chart, and you can see that price is already respecting and responding to this range and trend line, and could be creating some downside now to retest this bottom. So there could be a little bit of a triangle between these lines as well, by the way, and price might stay in this zone for a few hours or longer before that breakout occurs. All right, so pound dollar is choppy and corrective too, just like the euro dollar. It's a little bit different because the correction is looking a little bit more bullish. It's looking like maybe a falling wedge or a bull flag, probably is more accurate, I would say. And this bull flag pattern is choppy, corrective, and prior to it there was bullish momentum. So this formation pattern is looking more bullish. The euro dollar overall on the 4-hour chart, I would say, is at this point looking a little bit more I would say, bearish or rangy. Look at the moving averages, just very flat and choppy. Pound dollar is a little bit different in the sense that an uptrend is still aligned with the moving averages, at least. There's momentum, correction. So if it breaks above the resistance specifically, it could be a good breakout to the upside, and that still remains valid, just as I indicated in last weekend's video. Also important is this fib from this bottom to this top, and you can see that not only the 50 fib would be important. If price does reach the 61.8 fib, that would be a potential bullish bouncing spot too. Only if price breaks below that fib level is there a more higher chance of a bigger breakout to the downside. First of all, towards the 78.6 fib at 131.50. So for the moment, I think price could bounce again at the 50 or 61.8 fib, or make the breakout. Those seem the most interesting options at the moment. On a 1 hour chart, this is a pretty difficult spot because price is at resistance within a bigger channel to the downside, and it's pretty close to that resistance. So this is not a good moment to trade it, I think, at this point. Maybe if it fails to move higher and breaks through this trend line, there could actually be a little bit of a breakout trade right here towards the bottom of this channel and perhaps down to the 61.8. That could happen, but overall, not very good environment to trade in this channel, I think. Pretty choppy and corrective. There could be a breakout on lower time frames in this zone, but ultimately I like the bounce at the 61.8 or the breakout more than any trade within this channel for the moment. All right, that's my 2 cents on the euro dollar and pound dollar for today and tomorrow. We'll be back as always on Thursday with another euro dollar and pound dollar video, and wish you all good trading. Check out elitecurrency.com for our ECS.start package with a lot of free material and indicators and ebooks. So check it out, and wish you all good trading. Cheers.